The vanishing room. Bilal checked into a roadside motel late at night. The receptionist handed him a key and warned, "Don't open room 108 after midnight." At 12:10 a.m., Bilal heard soft whispers from the hallway. Curious, he stepped outside and saw room 108's door slightly open. Against his better judgment, he peeked inside. The room was empty, but the walls were covered with photographs. Every picture showed different guests. All terrified, at the center was a fresh photo of Bilal dated today. The door slammed shut, the lights went out. A cold hand grabbed his shoulder and a voice whispered, "Welcome to your room forever." The next day, the motel staff found room 108 locked, and Bilal was gone. The footsteps. At 3 a.m., Farhan heard footsteps in the hallway. He lived alone, grabbing a stick. He checked, but no one was there. Returning to his room, he froze. Muddy footprints led straight to his bed.
The Forgotten Village. Daniel loved exploring forgotten places. As a travel blogger, he always searched for abandoned towns, ghost villages, and lost ruins. One day, he read about a mysterious place called Raven's Hollow, an ancient village hidden deep inside a dense forest. No one had lived there for over 100 years, and locals warned him never to go near it. "This village isn't just abandoned," an old shopkeeper told him. "People who go there never come back." Daniel didn't believe in superstitions. That night, he packed his camera, drone, and flashlight and drove to the edge of the forest. There was no proper road, just a narrow dirt path swallowed by trees. As he walked deeper inside, the sunlight faded, and the forest grew unnaturally quiet. Even birds stopped chirping. After hours of walking, he finally found Raven's Hollow. It looked like time had frozen. The wooden houses stood perfectly intact, though covered in vines and moss. Doors creaked open, yet there was no wind. Daniel started recording for his vlog. "This is incredible," he whispered. "No human footsteps here for decades." Suddenly, he heard faint laughter behind him. He spun around, but there was nothing, just empty streets. A shiver ran down his spine, but curiosity pushed him forward. As he explored, he noticed strange symbols carved on every house door, almost like warnings. One door stood out, it had no symbol. He entered cautiously and found an old diary lying on a dusty table. The last page was dated 1893, and the final entry read, "If you're reading this, leave now. Do not let them see you." Before he could process it, Daniel heard footsteps outside. He peeked through the cracked window and saw figures moving silently in the street, wearing old-fashioned clothes. Their faces were pale, their eyes completely black. He ducked behind the table, holding his breath, heart pounding. After a few minutes, silence returned. Gathering courage, he stepped outside, but the entire street was different. The houses looked new, smoke rose from chimneys, and villagers walked around normally. Somehow, he was no longer in an abandoned village. A young woman approached him. "You're late," she said softly. "The feast has started." Confused, Daniel asked, "What year is this?" She frowned. 1893, of course. Panic struck him. Somehow, he had crossed into the past. Villagers gathered around a huge bonfire, chanting something in a language he couldn't understand. One man, wearing a black hood, raised a knife toward the fire. Daniel backed away slowly, but the woman grabbed his wrist tightly. "You cannot leave until the offering is complete," she whispered. Suddenly, the villagers turned to face him. Their smiles widened unnaturally, and their black eyes glistened in the firelight. They began chanting louder, surrounding him. Daniel ran, darting between houses, desperately searching for the path back to the forest. He finally spotted the diary house and rushed inside, slamming the door. He opened the diary again, hoping for clues. On the last page, new words appeared, written in fresh ink right before his eyes. "You cannot escape, Daniel. You are the offering." Terrified, he bolted out the back door and sprinted toward the woods. But the forest wasn't there anymore. Behind him, Raven's Hollow stretched endlessly, houses multiplying as far as he could see. No matter how far he ran, the streets never ended. Hours later, his camera was found outside the forest by a group of hikers. The footage showed Daniel walking into the village and whispering, "This is incredible." Then, the final 10 seconds were horrifying. He turned the camera toward himself, eyes completely black, smiling, and whispered, "Welcome to Raven's Hollow." No one has seen Daniel since. The hotel key. Hamza checked into an old hotel. The receptionist warned him, "Never open room 313. At midnight, loud knocks came from that door. Curious, Hamza peeked inside. The room was empty, except for a mirror showing him sleeping in his own bed. Suddenly, his reflection opened its eyes and whispered, "Get out while you can." The locked door. At midnight, Sammy heard knocking from the attic. Grabbing a torch, he climbed up and saw a locked door shaking violently. Suddenly, a voice from inside whispered, "Let me out. You locked me in."